Okay, so this has been a thing here at our spot in Cedar Hill. The birds get up here on our roof and they're drinking the water right out of our gutter and off the runoff right there from our AC that's having to run. And I think that's a hummingbird. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that looks like a hummingbird. And I'm only saying that because it's long beak. It's so freaking cute.
Is its wings going really
And
fast?
oh yeah, that would mean it's not a hummingbird. So yeah, no hummingbird there. But a really cool bird nonetheless. But then you also see the other birds. Like there's one right there on the back of our potty wagon. And they sit here and take turns. And they'll sit on the little gutter spout and just drink the water that's dripping. See, here they come. Oh, that's so cool. There he goes. Right, there's a cardinal. Gets his little sip, goes back. So I'm gonna take it that, you know, in the wild, they like big old watering holes, like in the jungle and stuff. All the animals come and they know the water area is common ground, so they don't try to eat each other there, for the most part. I'm gonna say that our gutters right here are that right now for these birds. Cause look at them, look at all of them. It's the common ground watering hole for this area for the birds, because they are everywhere. Drinking their little water. Gotta love it.
We're motivated travelers on set free, on the road together, just you and me. With every mile our spirits soar. Motivated travelers, always craving more.
Thanks.
Just a little, you know, travel day videos. Inside edition.
This is an impromptu travel day.
Right.
Because we're moving closer to our kiddos in Dallas.
Yeah, this wasn't part of the original plan, but where we're at, we're having to drive almost an hour and a half to get to go see them. So we finally found a spot that became available in our favorite state park in Texas that we've been to so far, which is Cedar Hill State Park. So
This will be like the 4th time we've stayed in that state park.
Right.
And they've been packed.
At
I'm
the next
surprised.
stop sign, turn right.
I'm surprised they've been so packed
Yep.
because we couldn't get in there, and then
Yeah, but
we're
we-
able to get in there this week. So.
we were, but we've been here during the Texas State Fair and the Texas-Oklahoma game and Texas-Georgia.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. And we haven't been here in Texas during those times before.
Right,
in
so-
Dallas anyway.
yeah. And then we've got time there in a couple weeks after we get done with the NRVTA. Because we're going to spend a week on the back end before we head back up towards Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then we come back at the end of January, beginning of February. We're going to be here for a couple weeks or so.
But in between there, we have 3 months with grandbabies in Kentucky.
That's right.
And a new grandbaby that's being born.
Yep.
So
Yep.
exciting.
We're so pumped.
This
At the
whole
stop
little
sign, turn right onto FM
this
47.
whole little stretch where we have the grandbabies here, and then we leave here when we go to Kentucky and have all the grandbabies there. It's just, it does this Gigi's heart good.
Yeah, I mean, we knew this whole summer of traveling that this was going to be the stretch that would probably give us the most, you know, feel like home type thing, because
Yeah.
we're around family the most. So it started with, once we got closer down to Florida with,
My parents.
yeah, and then from there, obviously,
Talladega, baby.
here, and then, man, back to Kentucky. So yeah, we are pumped. We've got a short travel day, hour and 14 minutes. So, you know,
Yep.
we're,
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
yeah.
But I will say that I loved this 1,000 Trails.
Oh, I didn't think about it. This is our last 1,000 Trail stop for right now.
For right now. So I loved this
Yeah.
1,000 Trails at Lake Tawakoni. Yeah, it is kind of far out, depending on where you're, you know, what you're here for. If you're here
Right.
to visit people in Dallas, you know, it is about an hour and a half away. It is only an hour from Athens and the NRVTA. but we love the country, and this was a great little country spot, you know.
And I'll have some footage in here showing
Yeah.
and you probably saw it on the video that posted today.
You got to
so.
drive like 30 minutes to the nearest Walmart.
You got to drive 25 minutes just to get to the highway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, but there's a, you know, we're in between a couple cute small towns, and they have everything you need. They got a nice grocery, they've got Walgreens, they've got restaurants and stuff like that. So, it's not like you're just going without. So,
No, not at all.
we love it.
And we, you know, we find our way to, every time we get to a new little town or whatever, we do pretty good finding
What we want,
what we want to do, what we want to see.
And we like little towns. We like kind of being off the beaten path. And,
Yeah.
You know.
Well, with that said, Thousand Trails definitely gave us that, except for in Florida. Florida, obviously, all the ones we stayed at were pretty much around bigger
Stuff.
cities.
Yeah.
Um,
But I enjoyed all the ones in Florida.
yeah, I mean, all of them were nice. I was going to say we could do a little just on the spot ranking of the ones we stayed at.
Okay.
So the summer started, third week of June, leaving Kentucky. We went to North Carolina.
Yeah.
So the stays were North Carolina, two spots in South Carolina, 3 spots in Florida, 4 spots in Florida. Yeah, Daytona, Vero, or no, Daytona, Space Coast, Vero, Orlando. Right. And then from there, Alabama. We stayed at a spot called Hidden Cove in Alabama. So
Which
let's
was really nice.
rank them based on what, and we'll, if we can remember the names, we'll throw them in there. If not, I'll put them at the bottom of the screen here as we're going through.
I can look and see.
So, South Carolina,
well, let's
or
do
say North Carolina, sorry.
Let's do our favorite ones to the,
okay, let's do that.
or do the least favorite. What do you want to do? Which one?
Least favorite and why? And I think
Okay.
we may have talked about this a
I
little bit,
think we did.
but it's the one of the ones in South Carolina.
Yeah. I'm going to try to log in so I can get the names.
Yeah, and it was not that the park was bad, but
No.
the row of sites we were in were basically completely almost on a side. So we were off the ground on one of our tires on the non-camp side. We were up in the air off the ground. Like we had to do some serious work to get level. Sometimes it's like that. So it could be at a campsite, it could be boondockings, whatever. So I would say that one first. And I think that one was in Fairplay? Maybe?
It was, hang on. I got to get to it. Because I got to go backwards here. That one was Green Mountain
Yeah.
Park.
Green Mountain?
Yeah, Green Mountain Park in South Carolina.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad park. And if you like a lake, because it did have a lake and it did have a dock for boating and stuff like that. So it wasn't a bad park. I think you just have to get the right spot.
Right.
So, but that's why it was our least favorite.
And then after that, I think it would be probably the other one in South Carolina.
Do you think you liked it better than North Carolina?
Or I disliked it more than North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, because North Carolina was in a mountain, essentially.
It had a lot more nearby.
Yeah.
Well, no, because the one in South Carolina you could get to. I mean, we went to Savannah,
right.
and Hilton Head.
We were in
and
between that stuff, which was
Beaufort.
cool.
Beaufort.
Whatever.
Whatever.
It's also right there by
I liked
Charleston, but we didn't do Charleston that time.
Yeah. I liked that one. The only downfall to that one is if it's rainy or stormy, you're
Yeah.
screwed.
Now the thing about it, we got out of there just in time, obviously because the hurricane was coming. That site flooded. So the reason I'm making that number 2 on the dislike list is we did have some storms there. The site was pretty saturated, meaning like our snap pads on the site were underwater a lot of times, which sucked.
Yeah. And that was Carolina Landing.
Right.
In
South Carolina.
South Carolina near Beaufort.
So then third on the dislike for me would be the North Carolina.
Bay Landing, North Carolina. And again, none of these are. We would go back to any of these. I think. Maybe not. Maybe not Green Mountain.
Unless I was on a different row in a different site, but maybe
Yeah. But I mean, in a pinch, we would go back to. I don't think what we experienced would have kept us from going back to those if we're there in that area.
The staff at all of them, amazing.
Yeah, all the Thousand Trails staff at every single one of these.
They were great. Didn't have any bad experiences in that
No,
regard.
Especially Carolina Landing in South Carolina. They were really awesome.
Yeah. So then after that, we're gonna.
That becomes difficult then for me.
Yeah, because it's then you're talking about you're literally picking hairs. Because all the Florida ones were pretty legit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think
we loved them all.
I think fourth would have to be Hidden Cove in Alabama. And then the Florida ones, it would come in probably Space Coast, Daytona.
I would say Space Coast, Vero, Daytona. I liked Daytona.
Vero.
I liked Daytona a lot.
Oh yeah. We
had that corner spot.
Yeah.
We met a lot of great people. The park was really nice.
Vero was nice though. That's why this is picking hairs. This is literally a hair lines difference between
I would say
these.
the Space Coast, then
Vero,
then Daytona,
and then Orlando. So Orlando being number one.
Well, Orlando is going to be number one on the list for me.
Orlando could be number one campground that we've been to, period.
Yeah. We really,
it's legit.
Loved.
But in all
the
fairness,
Orlando
though,
one.
we were staying in the beautiful concrete pad, backed up to the lake. You all saw the footage before.
Well, but that's the thing, though, with Thousand Trails, too, and with any campground. My experience is going to be different than somebody else's experience. I mean, it's going to really depend on what you're there for, when you're there, what site you're staying in. But this is just our experience.
Yep.
And for our experience, we absolutely fell in love with the Orlando Thousand Trails. We loved it so much that we even said we could see that being our spot when we go to Florida.
Just regular.
Regularly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's an hour and a half from family, but it's kind of worth it. That's a situation that hour and a half is like, that's pretty legit.
Yeah,
we didn't rank this one though. We left this one out.
We haven't got here yet. We haven't.
No, the one we just left.
Yeah, that one would be second. Right, but this one to me would be right below the one in Orlando. And.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
This is an older park.
Yep.
And it is off the beaten path, but it has state park feel.
Yeah, and we love state parks.
And I love state parks.
Yeah.
And I like to feel, which you don't get in Orlando. It's a completely different vibe. But this feels like camping. And there was we were backed up to a lake, and almost every site you have lake views. I mean, even if you're across the street, you can see the lake. The sunsets were phenomenal.
Footage this week's video that you're seeing today,
it's just,
or whenever you watch it.
I just really loved it, and I'm a sucker for the country.
That's true. That's true.
And I love the country vibe, and the people were amazing, and we met a lot of great, nice people.
You know, though, but with that said, Hidden Cove was like that.
I did like Hidden Cove.
Yeah, Hidden Cove
but
was.
when you're ranking them, Hidden Cove has to go below this one, I think, Tawakoni.
Yeah.
But I loved Hidden Cove too.
Hidden Cove had a state park feel.
I mean, we fell in love with Alabama staying there too.
Alabama was nice, yeah.
And it had a lake and it had all that. So it depends. Hidden Cove in Alabama also gave you that state park feel and all that stuff. So I think if we're ranking them, number one would be Orlando.
Yep.
Number two for me would be Lake Tawakoni.
Yep.
Number three would be Hidden Cove in Alabama.
There you go.
So that's our top three.
Yep, top
so
three.
Far. Yep.
And that's a pretty good sample size. Now, I will say this. We did an analysis of the cost, and I don't think we included Lake Tawakoni. And if you want to pull up some of those numbers, but the Thousand Trails package we have is the adventure package, and allows you to go park to park, 21-day stays at each park. You have all the you have everything. You have full access to the Thousand Trails. And before this, go ahead. I'll let you talk the numbers while I'm driving here.
We pay $300 a month for our membership.
Yep.
And what that gives us is 21 days at any park. And we have the park to park so that we can leave one park and go to another park. So that's basically our whole summer has been doing that, with the exception of when we were staying at Talladega for the week for the race.
Yep.
And we went park to park for 21 days since June.
Yeah.
So 4 months. And
Now, granted, a couple of spots were a week here, like at Space Coast, we only spent a week because we wanted to
Yeah.
watch a rocket launch, stuff like that.
But we added up the cost of what it would be if we did not have our Thousand Trails and we were staying at those Thousand Trails parks, because you can stay there. You don't have to have a Thousand Trails membership to stay at these parks.
So the
Just
nightly
so you know.
rate based on the site that we had.
Yes. So the total would have been $8,882 for the 4 months that we have been.
And that's not
No.
including Lake Tawakoni.
And
Right.
no, it is including Lake Tawakoni.
Oh, did you add that in?
Yeah, we had already had Tawakoni.
Oh, okay, okay.
But we only paid $1,200.
I mean, come
So,
on now.
You know, that's like a $7,600 savings.
And in a situation like we've had during this season of our life where I lost my job in May,
Yeah.
and this was an absolute
Lifesaver.
lifesaver. Literally a lifesaver for us.
Now, you know, it changed our plans. Our plans were not to spend the hottest months of the year in Florida
And
and
some
in
of the
South.
hottest places of the year.
But,
You think North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida in the summer? Sweltering.
yeah, but you know, we had to change our plans around a little bit based off the fact that Matt did lose his job, and we had this Thousand Trails, and so we switched. We had family, you know, down in Florida and stuff, so we switched it up a little bit. That's what we got, but it was absolutely worth it. Would I have done it again? Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
And
1,000%.
we were so much on the fence too, everybody. When we were thinking about getting the Thousand Trails, we were literally like, I don't know, it's such a big investment. You know,
Yeah.
we were doing cost analysis beforehand. Is it truly going to be worth it?
Yeah.
Are we going to have to change the way we travel and you know, to basically to utilize the investment that we're putting into Thousand Trails? Are we then going to be chasing Thousand Trails for traveling, or you know, to make it worth the money, or is it one of those, will it still be worth it when we're just using it here and there? This was the
It's
great
worth it.
sample size because it allowed us to see, leaving from Kentucky, going to Florida and visiting family, coming to Texas, visiting family. It allowed us to be able to see what that would be like when we want to make that leg of a journey, because we'll do that again because
Yeah.
we want, that's kind of a rotation. And then in that
Probably
off
not in the
season,
summer.
yeah, not in the summer.
But yeah, I mean, because for us, I would say that our experience so far with Thousand Trails, and like I said, we've stayed at quite a few of them over the summer, has been 1,000% worth it for us. I will say that if you are a resort type of person where you like brand new parks and concrete pads at every facility, you know, that might not be your thing. But for us, it was 1,000% worth it.
The part of this though, traveling full time, and even traveling semi full time, if you're doing 6 months out of the year, for example, is putting yourself in uncomfortable situations to allow yourself to grow in your experience. You don't know what you like until you experience it.
Yeah.
We stayed on a lot of spots that had lakes. We don't do water stuff that much
Yeah.
at all. Now, a lot of them had pools, and the pools were really nice. Some better than others, but
But the lakes are beautiful.
the lakes are beautiful.
We
They make
love
for
good
great pigs.
sunsets
Yeah,
and,
it's amazing.
Just sitting
Great
and
night
watching
walks.
the water. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was our overall summer experience with Thousand Trails. Like Stacy said, absolutely would do it again. Super excited and pleased that we did it.
And we've got more Thousand Trails coming up in the spring. Like Matt said, we're going to be back after Kentucky. We're going to come back this way, and we're going to start heading out west. And we've got Arizona Thousand Trails we're going to be hitting up, and we've already got actually a couple of them that we've got planned. So
Yeah, we're not releasing the 2025 full schedule yet.
yeah,
We do have a pretty good idea of what that's going to entail.
I'm so excited. And we love the west, and we love the desert, and we love the mountains.
Part of
And
our
just so excited.
NRVTA work we're having done next week is going to dictate Is for the reason of what the planning, the stuff we've got coming up, stays and things like
For
that.
boondocking, maybe.
For boondocking, that's right. So yeah, obviously when you make the investment like that too, in a big old solar install and lithium batteries and everything, you want to be able to utilize that. So we're going to get to do the flip side and spend probably a good 3 months ish, maybe, doing that somewhat. So.
Yeah. And we're going to sprinkle in some Thousand Trails in there because they do have some, Colorado, Arizona.
Plus, Daddy likes a nice 20-minute shower, and boondocking doesn't let you do that. So
Did you just say Daddy?
I did say Daddy. I don't even know why. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Sorry, y'all. I'll let y'all in on a little bit too much there.
Cut. All right, so that's good for this travel day, and we've ranked our Thousand Trails, and
Yep.
We'll show you some of our favorite state park here in Texas, which is Cedar Hill State Park, and
So just a little add, all this driving, and during this, we're still on the road going to the highway. Just to put that in context a little bit, we still got probably about, 10 minutes before we hit the highway or so.
country roads, got
Country roads. It's called a country mile for a reason. I'll say that. So, all right, but that's it for this one, and we're gonna cut this off before we get onto the highway because I don't want to do this and talk to you all and do this head turning on the expressway. That'll be a wreck, okay? And I'm not trying to do all that. So.
Your hands on the wheel.
Oh yeah, both my hands have to be on the
Stay
steering wheel.
motivated.
Later. What's up, fellow travelers? So I was just sitting here, just finished making cup of coffee number 2 for the morning, and we got to our location here at Cedar Hill State Park in just outside Dallas, Texas. Love this park. This is the second spot we've been at. We've only stayed at one particular camp. Well, actually, we stayed at 2 different campsites in the park, but one we really, really like. But I just finished making my second cup of coffee, and I'm just standing here in the living room looking around, and I was about to say, this is what it's all about for this kind of RV full-time lifestyle, that we do and so many people do. Sometimes it's about those crazy, awesome mountain views and a big old lake and, in the middle of nowhere, or that really nice campground, that's got all the amenities, so you don't need for anything. And then sometimes it's a nice state park covered in trees.
Close to your kids.
Close to our kids. We'll get into this situation over here with Stacy in just a second. Completely closed in with trees all the way around. Even on that side. Big, huge, nice area out here with a fire pit, picnic table, all this area for the dogs and for us to hang out or the kids come over. Just, there's so many different ways to enjoy this lifestyle and it never get old. So, it's one of those where we were watching some other YouTubers this morning on a video, and they were talking about how, they get asked all the time, when is it time? When will they stop traveling? All this. And they just made the reference of when we get tired of it, when it's no longer fun. I can't imagine the scenario where this is not going to be fun, or where I'm so tired of this, where I'm like, I'm done. I'm completely done. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't think there'll ever be a time where I don't want to be on the road and doing this, but there'll be a time where I'm like, I could have a balance of having a home base, maybe a little land, but still this is part of it forever. Has to be. Just has to be. So just wanted to share that because I was literally about to say that to Stacy, and then I thought, you know what? I'm going to record that because it's beautiful out here. We're enjoying the site. We're enjoying now getting to be just a few minutes from the kids. I'm going to have them over later for some good times, so probably get some recording of that. Now, when we got here, we were setting up, and around this site, the concrete pad is a little bit elevated, just like maybe an inch or two, and it's kind of broken up. So the first thing that happens is I step out of the truck after I back in, and what do? I literally roll my ankle. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'm wearing flip-flops, whatever. Roll it out. It's fine. Move it around, no problem. We put our stairs down after we get set up, and we realize, okay, we got to extend the legs on the stairs. We're a little bit higher than normal. So we're probably about a foot at the bottom stair off the ground. So all that being said is yesterday I'm working underneath the back of the RV, modifications. RV Life's about modifications and upgrades. And I'm doing something to the hitch on the bike rack, and I'm underneath the back of the rig, and I realized I didn't have my key I needed. So I sent Stacy a message real quick, asked her if she could bring me the key, which she does, and it was the wrong key, so she went back in to grab it.
All while I'm on a conference call.
All while she's working, because she's on a conference call for work. And she grabs the other keys and goes to step down the stairs. Where are we going with this, y'all? And rolls her ankle. Literally, all I see is I'm underneath the back of the rig and under the bike rack. It's her flying off the stairs, like in the air. I didn't see her land. I didn't see any of that. The tire was kind of in the way, I think. So I'm like, crap. So she throws the keys to me. I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, I rolled my ankle. It hurts. And I'm like, okay, well, hang on. Let me get out. So I tried to be slick, and I'm going to pull back. I'm going to grab a hold of the bike rack and pull myself back to get out from underneath the RV. And as I grab a hold of it and go to pull, I lost my grip. Back I go. Bam. Hit my head. She's crying. I'm crying, laughing. Because at this point, I'm like, we are just a couple of dun-da-duns right now. And I get over to her, and she had rode it pretty good. Now, this is after a whole day of ice, a compression ankle brace for it. And now I still look at it. All this swelling right here. So yeah, we are extra special.
What's hurting me the worst today.
Yeah, today she feels like she's been in a car wreck. Like she says she thinks when she tried to brace herself, she hit her hand trying to hold herself. She landed on her other knee, which was already kind of a tweaked bum knee from another fall years ago. And so now she feels like she's literally in a car wreck. So she's working today. Like this. Blessing, nonetheless, that she gets to be able to work that way. But crazy start to the first full day that we had here. It was pretty weird. So yeah, that's what we got going on. So we might not be out and about as much in the evenings this week because obviously it hurts her to be up and moving around. We were able to go to dinner last night. It was my birthday.
Happy birthday.
And I'll throw some footage or something in here. The kids, we went to Texas Roadhouse and they made a fool of me, so it's all good. It's all fun.
Babies bought dinner.
Yeah, our kids bought us dinner, so that was nice. So yeah, taking a nice relaxing day. Probably gonna do some laundry or something. I don't know. But just wanted to share these moments with you all, and let me know, what are your kind of key moments when you're out on the road and you're traveling where you're like, oh yeah, this is that moment. This is why I love this. This is why I like to do what we're doing. So let me know that. Put in the comments, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. We appreciate, all the YouTube things. And thank you all for watching.
Leo, what's today?
What's today?
Papa's birthday.
Papa's birthday. That's right. Papa's birthday. Papa, do you want to say how old you are today or no?
I'm old enough to know better.
22 or 23?
And do it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
This man right here.
Attention, Texas Roadhouse. We have a very special cowboy in the house. Who is it? This is my friend Manny. He's turning 21 again. I don't know what I've done. Happy Roadhouse birthday.
Oh, you turned 21 again. Aw. Was that cool, Leo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? So I realized I was sitting here talking about our site, and I haven't shown y'all our site yet. So let's do that real quick. So this is, actually, let's do it like this. And turn. All right. So you see, we got this little lip here. A couple of rolled ankles for sure. and we're a little bit more extended here than we would really like. It's a good foot, easy. But check it out. This is all the site. Absolutely beautiful. Got the picnics, you got an area to hang lights, you got all this open space. There's another camp area over there. That's their area. But then all this, we're just treed in. And it's the same way on the other side. Walk up here. Of course, I like parking the truck pretty close because then I can have the cameras keep eyes on the truck at night. I'll show you over here. Look, there's our sun. There's the hookups. I always love it when I get to a site and I'm able to use just one hose. It's the little things that make life a little easier when you're camping. But one of the tricky things for this site, let's take you all over here and I'll show you, was when I backed in, I wanted to be at a certain spot for the stabilizers. And look at the clever work we had to do here. So we're right on the edge. And I didn't want the stabilizers to be down too low. So we had to use the Legos as well as our black locks. But look over here. We were off a little bit, so we made our own level. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Yeah, pretty much it. So just wanted to share the site. We love it. Plenty of room. Plenty long enough. It's probably a good 55 feet, I think, on this one. So yeah, just wanted to share the site a little bit. This is all gravel for the most part out here. I will say this though. You see all the leaves on the ground? I don't know if you can really see them or not. None of that was on the ground when we got here. So in 2 days, the leaves are starting to fall. So yeah, let's hear it for fall in Texas. So other than that, just wanted to have y'all check out the site and see what's going on. Have a good night. What's up, everybody? All right, so it's me dropping the phone. I'm gonna leave that in there. Why not? No, I'm just kidding. What's up, everybody?